Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Wimbledon Spiritualist Church on this wonderful Hydesville Day. Today, we celebrate the birth of modern spiritualism. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Wimbledon Spiritualist Church on this wonderful Hydesville Day. Today, we celebrate the birth of modern spiritualism. Good morning. Wow, that was interesting. I thought I was coming back. My guys were coming through in trance. So we celebrate today. Our medium is my wonderful wife, Jackie, who's going to be giving a talk and a speech on Hydesville Day. And we look forward to enjoying this service with you. There's not many here of us today, which does disappoint me because it's a special anniversary of spiritualism and the lack of attendance is, I think, quite disappointing. But those of you who are here, I'm really grateful that you're here and thank you for attending. So let us now have this short reading from Emma Hardage Britton. Behold, a golden portal in the vision of my slumber, and from it streamed the radiance of never-setting day, whilst the angels tall and beautiful and countless without number were giving gladsome greetings to all who came that way. And the gate forever swinging made no grating, no harsh ringing, no melodious tones of singing that we once adore. And I heard a chorus swelling a grand beyond in immortal telling, and the burden of that chorus, hope glad evermore, from the Psalms of Life by Emma Hardage Britton. So I'm going to ask Jackie to introduce herself, then I'll open with prayer.
I'm sure I don't really need to introduce myself to everyone that's here. So we do have a couple of new faces. And I've been here almost 50 years with Ray, 47 years. And, started working as a medium, started sitting in circle in the 1970s. Started working on the platform in the 1980s, 90s while bringing up the family. Going on the platform really towards the end of before the new millennium. But I've certainly been a medium for, over 27 years. And I've run circles and teaching, and I'm the general secretary of one of our religious bodies in spiritualism, United Spiritualists, which believe in the unity of spiritualism. So that's about me, so I can talk behind legs off a donkey when it comes to talking about spiritualism, and our subjects and about history of spiritualism is very, very passionate to me. And as I say, this is the nearest Sunday to Hydesville. I know it's Palm Sunday in the Easter calendar, but say Hydesville on the 31st of March, I shall be talking about a little bit after, during the course of the service. So thank you.
And can I just say one other little thing? You might hear noises stage back, and that's our gardener. It's nothing mystical, spiritual happening. It's a young gardener working, so if you hear any numps and bumps and knockings, it's Kieran, alive and well, hopefully, unless I hear him scream out. So let's open with prayer. On this Hydesville Day, we pause in gratitude for the light that first broke through in a small home in New York, a light that has grown into a worldwide movement of hope, healing, and truth. We give thanks for the pioneers who have listened with courage, for the Fox family whose experience opened the doorway, and for all those who've carried the torch of spiritualism with integrity, compassion, and in faith. May the same spirit of discovery and renewal be alive with us today. Help us to walk in the truth, to speak with kindness and serve with humility and joy as we honour our history. May we also embrace the calling of the present and bring the comfort to the grieving, to the upliftment to the weary, and remind every soul that life is continuous. Love is unbroken and the Spirit is very near. Bless this, our Wimbledon Spiritualist Church, and our community, and all those who gather here at the different occasions. May our hearts be open to the minds of clear spirit communication, and may our lives be guided by the highest wisdom. In gratitude, peace, and in the unity of spirit, we say, Amen. Now we have the healing prayer, which Jackie's going to read the names out.
So in your healing thoughts today, if you can think of the following people, and of course all those that you know that are not well yourself, all those that are in beds of sickness all around the world, these are our ones here that we've been given for this morning's service. For Daphne and Ivor, for Ruby, for Leslie Morton, for June Malkin, for myself and Ray, for Mary Dixie, Anne Hopkins, Jenny Burgess and Carol Burgess, Ray Parrott, Amber, Maureen, Jill Ross, Lee Oswald, James Lean, Jeff Williams, Steve Kelly, Fabrice, Amelia Rose, Alex, Rosemary, Jean-Claude, Fiona, Rubin, Valerie, Jean and John Clark, and Jeff Williams. So we just have a few thoughts of our own before we say together the Serenity Prayer.
Let's join together in the Serenity Prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Now ask Jackie to give the address for the morning. No?
I've got several readings to read as well, but we're going into the address and then we'll do the readings towards the end. Okay. Because it is the nearest Sunday to Hydesville, and because in this church we particularly want to honour our pioneers in the history of spiritualism, then it's important to keep this anniversary alive. It's actually the 178th anniversary now of spiritualism. 1848 we have to take ourselves back to. And I'll tell you about all the significance of the sunflowers a little later, but you'll see that we're covered in sunflowers here with the altar, in front of the altar that you can't see, and above us, because they are the emblem of spiritualism. But for those online, I'm just going to show you a display board as well, of which I'm just going to talk about some of the individuals. And this display board will be outside and people will be able to have a little look and see the actual story as it unfolded. But these are individuals. It's about Mr. and Mrs. Bell that lived in Hydesville Cottage, the Fox family, Maggie, Margaretta Fox and Leah Fox and Kate Fox, and the mystery and the significance of Hydesville and Lilydale Assembly, and also Amy and Isaac Post, that were great pioneers of spiritualism. They were Quakers, but without them, the story really wouldn't have unfolded and the Fox sisters wouldn't have grown up to become mediums that travelled. I'm putting this down. I mean, Hydesville wasn't the first psychic story. I mean, psychic phenomena has been around, you know, since the dawn of time. You know, and I'm sure there were psychic experiences in the Egyptian time and Roman time and, you know, almost pre-language. You know, we've always had the, you know, the hermit that lived in the cave or the wise woman or, you know, so all through history. And in fact, Andrew Jackson Davis was a famous medium that was working before Hydesville. But what it was the sensation it caused in 1848, because in this little cottage there were raps and taps. And these two little girls, the youngest being only 8 years old, understood there was an intelligence because they did some clapping and rapping to a certain tune, and the tune was repeated back to them. And on one occasion, the older sister thought she would do a silent clap after her sister had done a loud clap, and the claps came back. And she said to her sister, "Oh, he can see us as well as hear us," which was just a great phenomena. But, you know, word got round the town and word spread across all the towns. And this is in New York State, quite near Buffalo, up near almost the Canadian border, but near Niagara Falls. And the media were there, and then townsfolk came from all the other villages because the communication they got, the individual that had actually been murdered in that cottage and his body, his bones were found later, was starting to bring people through. And so that was the first real evidence of communication and intelligent communication. And that's really spurred the beginnings of demonstrations of mediumship. And it spurred on people opening up centres, opening up churches. Our first churches in England were formed in the 1850s, early 1850s, up in Yorkshire. And our first spiritualist publications began to be seen. So really, we're coming up to, you know, almost 200 years, which is absolutely fantastic. And what I would do is read a little bit more of the story from one of the books on the subject. Well, the history of spiritualism. We looked through the 100 years of spiritualism, and this was done in 1948 when they were really celebrating it from 1848. And the SAGB, which was the Spiritualist Association of Great Britain, brought out a publication in the 70s, 1972, that they talked about 100 years of spiritualism from 1872 to 1972. So I'm just going to read a little bit from this one. So we've got this lovely one for people in here, which says the Spiritualist Centenary Library, the Light of Truth. And that says 1848 to 1948. And I thought it would be lovely to sort of show this lovely old book, which is sort of 75 odd years. And I'll just turn it there. So that's the cottage. That's the sisters. And then in the SAGB book, which shows how old it was only 75p at the time. And if you can get any of these, you know, that is the brilliance of it. And it actually says here, Chapter 1, The Birth of Spiritualism. Modern spiritualism was born in 1848 in a little hamlet named Hydesville, 20 miles from Rochester in New York State, when John D. Fox, his wife and two daughters, Kate and Margaret, moved into the Hydesville house on December 11th, 1847. It had already earned an uncanny reputation. The previous tenant, Michael Weekman, had moved out after 2 years because of mysterious noises, but the Fox family were not seriously disturbed until March 1848. Knocks, raps, and noises, which sounded as though furniture was being moved, grew in intensity, particularly at night, culminating on March 31st in a very loud outbreak. On his wife's suggestion, John Fox shook the window sashes to see if they were loose. Kate observed that the noises seemed to reply to her father's window shaking, and that suggested asking the noise to respond to the snapping of her fingers. It did just that. Margaret joined in by clapping her hands 4 times. 4 raps came in reply, terrifying the young girl. The mother took over and asked the agency responsible for the noises to make 1 rap for no and 2 for yes. This, in part of her account, signed 4 days later. I ascertained by this simple method that it was a man, aged 31, that he had been murdered in the house, and that his remains were buried in the cellar, that his family consisted of a wife and 5 children, 2 sons and 3 daughters, all living at the time of his death, but then his wife had since died. Mrs. Fox asked if he would continue rapping. Neighbours were to enter the house And he replied to the affirmative. Several came, asked questions, and received answers. It was discovered the man was a peddler. Mrs. Fox soon left the house with the two daughters, as it had become the centre of attraction. A week later, as many as 300 people were said to have crowded into the small Hydesville building to hear the noises. Later that year, with the interest in the spirit raps unabated, digging began to check if the communications were right or wrong, and at a depth of 5 feet, human hair and bones were discovered. It was not until 56 years later that the complete human remains were found, and the body, having been first buried under the house, was later moved to a hiding place between the walls. These humble beginnings, modern spiritualism was born. Attempts to communicate with the spirit world by similar methods swept the United States and many other countries, and the Fox sisters, Margaret, Kate, and Lee, who were born after the Hydesville events, grew up to become professional mediums, producing a wide range of psychic phenomena. A further account of the Hydesville phenomena and the stormy, controversial lives of the medium sisters can be found at books. And there's been various different books through the years. But I just wanted to share that part with you because, as I say, it's our history. That's where we began. Mental mediumship took a while to develop. We had a lot of physical mediums at that time because in some ways it needed that wow factor for everyone to be able to share in and to see how things went. In America, as I say, centres were built up, and it was your common everyday person. In England, it tended to be something that the rich and those in stately homes and the hierarchy were interested in. And Queen Victoria was a very keen individual for having seances. She'd lost Albert quite early, only after about 20 years of marriage. And she had various famous mediums regularly join her, at the palaces and at the College of Psychic Studies. There is a lovely display case. This is, if anyone is ever, I'm forgetting where it is now.
South Kensington.
Near South Kensington. But you will find things on display. And some mediums were given watches by yes, and in Stansted Hall. There were some really good diaries that Queen Victoria kept of these seances. But unfortunately, most of them were burnt by her children that were not keen to have any association. And people might have known the relationship with John Brown and Victoria, but as spiritualists, we know that John Brown was a powerful medium and that she very much liked to keep John Brown close because of the communication that she kept with Albert. Now, I want to just finish by reading you these poems because the emblem of spiritualism is the sunflower. That's why we've chosen it and why we adorn it, from March. We'll probably keep it up for another 2 or 3 months. But the first one I've got, it was actually one we got from an American church, Portland Spiritualist Church in Maine. And it says here, one tiny seed is placed in the dark of Mother Earth. It is watered by rain from the heavens and often grows as tall as 6 feet. When the sunflower becomes mature, ready for harvest, rich from Spirit's blessings, they often become stooped with age, as do we. But the stalk is strong, which is life's centre, and often has 7 inches or twigs, symbolizing the 7 days of the week. Also, the flower has 12 green leaves, representing the 12 months of the year. Each flower has 52 golden petals, representing the 52 weeks of the year. And in the centre of the yellow frame of petals are 365 rich seeds, representing 1 calendar year. These seeds are protected from weather by husks and contain a sweet meat and oil for nourishment of our bodies, as well as those of the animal kingdom. Each morning the sunflower faces the rising sun to the east, as it says, "Good morning" to the Great Spirit, and follows the sun as it travels across the sky. This is why the church's motto is, "We always turn to the light." We call this beautiful stately flower of infinite intelligence the emblem of spiritualism. The flowers are often planted in a cluster or a long row, and acts as a fence or barrier from storms and shade from the hot summer sun. We're all blessed with the generous guide who meets our every need. Self-preservation is nature's first law, and we thank Spirit for our health, wealth, prosperity, and spirituality, and the knowledge of the life of the sunflower. And as the sunflower turns to face towards the light of sun, so spiritualism turns to the face of humanity, towards the light of truth. And I think that's lovely to be able to talk. And as I said, we have another couple of smaller poems. Sunflower, it stands in quiet daylight, a tall and golden frame, turning its patient face towards whatever warmth arrives. No mystery moves within it, no whisper from beyond, only the honest work of growing and the steady pull of the sun. And I say I'll read these, the other one afterwards, but I just want to share one as well about Helen Duncan. Then just really in another couple of days, many spiritualists in America and the UK will honour and respect Hydesfield Day and the free women to whom it's dedicated. And it's not necessarily going to be posted on the SNU page, but it's not mentioned in spite of documentary being filmed only last year. But Helen Duncan, her memory will be honoured by a spiritual establishment. So let us remember it and be ourselves and leave the establishment to its ways. Today marks the start of Britain's final witch trial, the trial of Scottish medium Helen Duncan, who throughout the 30s, 40s and 50s became one of Britain's most famous ambassadors of spiritual communication. People flocked for miles to see her. Her predictions of naval losses in war are legendary, yet she is not without controversy, but her trial made international news. Her trial did more than just make the papers. It spurred lawmakers into repealing the Witchcraft Act that had been in place since 1735. Consider that her trial, her suffering, saw the end of the witchcraft trials in the country forever. She was spiritualism's greatest liberator, leading to the creation of the Fraudulent Mediums Act and opening up the way for our religion, our faith, to become something truly magnificent. Today should be shared by spiritualists wherever, because it signals the beginning and the end to our prosecution. And it says, share the post to be a proud spiritualist. Let Helen's memory be with us. And this post is sort of saying that a young man from Sydney, so deeply in touch with spiritualism today, that he sees the significance of what many have forgotten. That's Cameron Quinn, that is noted in this particular article. And once again, you know, we have to remember back that our pioneers didn't always have it easy. Mediumship wasn't always with open arms. And I remember reading an article from the 1895 magazine about Emma Harding Britton being asked to go to New York State and demonstrate her mediumship. And she literally took a ship over, then a train ride, and then she was picked up by a horse and buggy by a man near Hydesfield. And he actually said to her, I don't know if you still want to go on, because we had mediums a couple of weeks ago and they burnt the hall down and they were throwing rotten fruit and they, you know, ran him out of the town. So there was a lot of discrimination. And I also know that in the Victorian times in America, and I touched very briefly on Andrew Jackson Davis, but before spiritualism was regarded as a religion, one of his friends was being victimized by the authorities and was sent for trial. And Andrew Jackson Davis spoke, he's up for her, and said, this is part of our religion. And the judge said, well, if you can prove that, he said, then I may, you know, put it under consideration. And he reportedly went into an antechamber and wrote the 6 principles of American spiritualism, came out, gave it to the judge, and the judge dismissed the case and said that he could see that this was part of our religion. And so that's the part of some of the history of American spiritualism. And Andrew Jackson Davis, a great pioneer, worth Googling, as is Hydesfield, so that you can find out that information. But hopefully you've enjoyed what I've shared with you. And if there's anything else that any of you would like to know about our anniversary, then please just see me afterwards or send me an email or something. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, Jack. Got a short reading before Jackie's clairvoyance, and I wonder if Rita will go around with the offertory plate, please. Left that here. From the Lyceum Manual, it is written on Article 136, and the question is asked, what does spiritualism prove? And the reply is, it proves that man's immortality and the existence of a spiritual universe. The next question, what effect has such proof had upon humanity? And the reply is, it destroys the fear of death, the annihilations that goes with it, the doctrine of eternal punishment, and the substitute, the cheering assurance of eternal progress. And the question follows, what else does it do? And the answer comes, it sweeps away the idea of personal devil and locates the senses and sources of evil away and sweeps it all away. And what does spiritualism teach, comes the next question. It teaches the immortal soul, doctrine of vicarious atonement and sin is thrown away. The testimony of millions of immortal spirits solemnly affirm that every guilty soul must rise and become its own saviour. And what does it teach regarding the Creator? The Creator is, it ignores the degrading conception of partial and a vindictive God. It substitutes the worship of an infinite, eternal, and all perfect spirit, the Alpha and Omega, and all love, wisdom, and the law of spirit. Thank you, friends. Jackie's now going to demonstrate the gifts of her mediumship. If Jackie should speak to you, come to you, please answer with a clear yes or no. And please be aware what clothes and colours you're wearing, because if Jackie said, I'd like to come to the person in black, please remember you're wearing black. Or if you're wearing pink, you're wearing pink. Because so often people look round, especially when they're pointing. So friends, enjoy the next part of the service, and Jackie will try and bring the two worlds that a little bit closer together.
Okay. And a welcome to those online as well for joining us. Okay, now as I link with my first communicator, I'm aware that actually I want to come to you, Peter. And yeah, and I'm aware of your dad being around. And I'm aware that he's talking about owning land. And I'm assuming this is Malta because it's taken me to the Mediterranean. So I don't know if you're aware of some land that is owned.
I'm looking at them.
Because it's as though it's about, when there's a lovely scene from Gone with the Wind where the father of Scarlett O'Hara is saying about the land, and it's almost your dad is sort of saying that, and then has got a handful of the soil and the richness of the soil, and he's saying about wanting and almost influencing you. It doesn't have to be the biggest piece of land, but it's almost as though just having that little bit of land there, having that soil, having that, and so it was quite sandy what he's shown, and it's the ground. It's not a dark ground; it's more of a golden, sandy looking colour. But that's what he's showing, and it's as though he wants you to have some roots. And he's not saying necessarily have to live there 12 months of the year, but what he's saying, he wants you to have roots that are there, and the roots being there in the soil.
Thanks, Dad.
Okay, and with that, he's showing me all the lovely olive trees as well.
Yeah.
And he's not necessarily saying you're going to, grow olives, because he's now showing me some wine. So I think Dad might have liked wine.
Yeah, the odd tipple, yeah.
Yeah, so he's just showing me that, and he's bringing you a bottle to enjoy. But it's as though he would have known his wine as well, because he's showing me one that's an old vintage, and one that he would have saved for a special occasion.
Yes.
And he said there's something around at this moment that's special enough for him to open this bottle.
Oh, great.
Okay, and it may just be that you're going to have some And I won't, we don't fortune tell, but
No.
he's saying there's certain reasons, you know, he's saying that it's worth opening the good bottle. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm hearing the name of Grace. So I don't know if it's just sort of grace be upon you, or you understand the name of Grace.
No.
Mhm.
But like you said, it could be both.
Yes, and I know that you're a Peter, but do you understand somebody being called Pierre? So it's just French for Peter, or somebody's joke.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
I'm suddenly having a French berry put on your head.
Uh-huh.
Right. So it may just be Dad's idea of having.
Surnames.
Oh, no onions. I'm just.
I know.
But now he's.
I know my onions.
I see a stripy white and blue top. But I really do believe that's a suggestion because
Yeah, is there a bike involved as well?
if it's a nice electric one, but he's just
Oh,
yeah, and he's just saying, and he says sometimes just when you're out by yourself, surrounded by country, that you feel at home with God. Okay, and you feel the
Yes.
peace and you feel him around you. And he just wants to confirm that he is with you. He does walk with you, and you ask him questions.
all the time.
So you understand, putting questions out
My
into
hero.
the ether, and then him sort of pondering on them. He doesn't always answer them all straight away, because some of them are not the easiest of questions. So you
Complicated
understand
I
that.
am.
Some of them are deeper.
Yes.
Okay, but just take that. He's also giving me March as a month of anniversary. So there is something going on, you know, that's passed because we're in the last couple of days of March.
Yes.
So you would understand that.
Yes.
And he says there's a get together coming up as well. So whether or not you'll suddenly be invited to
Great.
something.
Yes, there is. Yes.
There is, so you're
Certainly.
aware of that. Okay.
Thank you.
But he gives you his love and his joy. And he was a very positive individual
Yes.
because you just feel the energy from him about, you know, that he would have beat down any obstacle. He wouldn't sort of give up very easily, and he'd find way around obstacles.
Iron will.
Okay, and as I say, he's definitely with you to knock down a few obstacles.
Thank you.
And so take his love.
Yes.
And I'll say God bless you, and then I'll come to Phil behind, because that way we can just pass it on easier. Okay.
Thank you, Jackie.
All right.
Excuse me.
Now I know, Phil, from the message you got from Jeff last week about that you've got East End connections, but I'm being taken to the East End, and I'm being taken to the Old Kent Road, and I'm being taken to the famous pub that is a boxing place.
Thomas the Beckett.
Yes. So would you understand links there? Family members that may have gone there, or they're just giving some memories.
But
Grandad. I want to link Grandad with this area. That it,
like my father's father, my granddad was he's everywhere in London.
yeah.
You know, so his lifestyle maybe and
Yeah.
living,
Uh-huh.
they would have been involved in that type
Right,
of thing.
yeah.
Thank you. But I'm not. Yeah, thank
But
you.
Grandad is also saying that you feel you've had to go a few rounds lately yourself in life.
I have, like everybody chatting with
Yeah,
respect, but yeah,
exactly, yeah.
thank you. Yeah, I've had a few. Yeah,
He's just using that as a, you know, a
still on
way
the run. That's a joke. Sorry.
to sort of say,
Thank you.
yeah. But he's showing me triumph in the ring. So whatever these obstacles, they're being beaten down for you, and you're victorious in this round. Okay,
Lovely. Thank
which
you.
is good for you.
Yeah, lovely.
Now I want to take you to the month of June as an anniversary,
Thank you.
so you'd understand that.
Yes, totally.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I know just from talking to you that you felt a little unsettled in where you are at the moment, and it's wanting
Yeah.
positive changes, and Spirit are aware that you want positive changes.
Yeah, I've had a curveball thrown in on
Yeah.
as a positive, and it's like also positive.
Yeah.
So I'm in between. What do I do? But
Yeah,
yeah,
well, Dad's going to help you in the boxing match with getting rid of some of these things, these
Thank you,
curveballs.
yeah.
But you know, they're working hard. They know that you want this positive change to happen,
Thank you.
and it's as though, you know, as we're getting to warmer months, things will start to unravel, because they're suddenly showing me a great big ball of wool, and I think this
Okay.
comes in, and it's Grandma bringing this wool. So Grandma must have been a very keen knitter.
Yeah, I know my mother was, but my grandmother,
Yeah,
One of my
because-
grandmothers I knew well, and the other
Yeah.
one didn't say a lot of shit.
No,
so,
because I'm
thank
from
you.
the amount of yarn, and it's
Yeah.
almost as though they're unraveling this yarn for you.
Thank you.
And that, you know, coming into the warmer months, that's going to be there for you, and that's important. And there's going to be new interests that you're looking into. So whether we're going to take up, I won't say it's a hobby, it might be some spiritual study, it might be some development, but there are some things that are interesting you at the moment, you are thinking of delving into.
I'm doing a few things
Mhm.
tomorrow, looking to
Right.
type of things,
Okay.
actually. Yeah, thank you.
And you know, you're going to have your eyes wide open, it said, in a good positive way.
Thank you.
Okay, so they're with you, they know that.
Brilliant.
And you learning to meditate more. But meditation is something that doesn't come easy to you.
I've not really got around to do. The only time is if I go somewhere, you pray a certain time. I just bought a meditation thing. We've got a candle, dice, and all that.
Mhm.
I bought it for someone, so that's meant for you, and it was, and I've not got
Yeah.
around to, like, I've been preoccupied.
And
just
that's
getting up.
fairly recent.
In fact, yes, it is.
Yesterday, because what they're saying is use it and meditate more just for your own peace of mind and your own harmony,
Thank you. Yeah, I'm totally.
and also have more spiritual healing.
Thank
You know, we've got some lovely healers here, and you know, that would really help you as well.
Brilliant.
And it's for a relaxation because your sleep pattern hasn't been too great.
It's off the wall, Jodie.
So that's what they're saying, because
Thank you.
I get very tired and I have sleep problems, but they're giving me that to tell me that you felt very weary and that your sleep pattern needs some improvement.
Yeah,
And
thank
that
you.
healing, you know, you'll find that if you came of a certain day for healing, that look and see your sleep pattern will be much improved.
I just want to say, the other day, I woke up, I woke up blind, I'm late for church. It was like a couple of days ago, I got my toes mixed up. Nearly fell over, so I was like, up too quick. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so know that they're with you and know that they're looking forward to you doing more spiritually and for your own well-being and your own relaxation.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
Say
lovely.
God bless you.
And to you.
So then I'll come up in the same line. So I'm going to go to Jane. So if Julian comes to Jane, okay. It's all dads and granddads this morning, but I feel Dad has brought his dad in. But did you know Dad's dad?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Because there seems to be, you know, that he's come because you will have known him, and that's why he's not just somebody that you saw in a picture once, you know. So Dad with Dad's dad,
No, yeah.
you know, and they are just giving you the biggest hug.
Oh,
Okay,
lovely.
and a great deal of pride with just how you have managed this last few months and the bravery that they say that you have found the courage where things were getting to the point of you thinking, I can't do this much longer.
Yes, yeah,
And,
definitely.
you know, and they're saying that they kept trying to give you the renewal energy of the wonderful yellow plants of the sunflowers and the things, and saying it's so important for you to get out as much as you can.
Yeah, I do.
And, you know, and that they're just saying they would have liked being outdoors, and Granddad would have been a king gardener.
He only had window boxes
Mhm.
on the balcony
Yeah,
where they lived.
but do you
We
understand?
had them full of flowers.
But he liked flowers,
Yeah,
and he
he must
liked
have
being
done.
out.
Yeah,
So he must have gone out
yeah.
to parks and places.
Oh, I
And-
don't know, perhaps years ago.
Because
I know
he
went to
said,
the park.
But he knew about plants as well. So that's why he
Oh,
was able to have
probably
such a
did.
nice
Yeah,
balcony with
Yeah.
it, because he's sort of saying he wants to surround you
Mm.
with colourful flowers.
Mm.
And they're giving you some lovely tulips,
I love tulips.
and they're giving you a pinky yellow tulip, a two-tone colour, and with a frilled edge, the ones that have got the frilled scalloped edges.
Oh, I'll have to look for those, the
And-
ones that haven't got that.
Yeah, no, these have been given to you as a
Mm.
gift, and he's
Oh,
got a
lovely,
huge
yeah.
bouquet of them, but they're the pretty top ones. So if you suddenly see
lovely,
one,
Yeah,
when you're out, get them,
I
and
will, yeah.
the granddad will pay. And I'll pay. But
I think he will.
I know. I mean, he's talking about June, but I know that June is your birthday and June
Yeah.
is other people's birthday and the
Yeah.
significance and our chat
Yeah.
from last week.
Yeah.
And saying that actually June will mark a month of some new discoveries for you and some quite a bit of movement. So they're sort of saying
yeah.
another couple of months, it's warming up by June, and then you're going to find that you feel as though you're on a roll, you know, that the wheels
yeah.
are turning
Yeah.
and that things are
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah,
that.
hope
And
so. Yeah.
you
Well,
know, yeah,
what
and
we did the other day.
and
Yeah.
there will be a trip away as well, so that if it's not in the planning yet, it's going to be fairly
Yes,
soon.
yeah, I spoke to my brother this morning.
Yeah, because he's saying it's imminent, is what
it
he's
is.
saying.
Yeah.
And that could
Next
change from
month.
last week. So
Yeah.
you know that you can't get away with anything with them. They hear every word.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
this morning, I spoke
Yeah.
to him on the phone
Uh-huh.
and said,
Yeah.
I've given him the date.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I knew I had to say it was imminent,
It
you know,
is,
and
yeah.
that would be really good
Yeah.
for you as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's talking about Sally, but it's also saying Sally Ann. So I don't know if that means there was a link with the Salvation Army or if there was a Sally there in the family.
I can't think in the family. We
Yeah.
knew a Sally that lived on our
Mhm.
estate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably was in the family. It's such a big family
Okay.
that could
It's just
quite
what I'm
easily
saying,
be
yeah.
somewhere.
Uh-huh.
I've got about nearly 40 cousins, so
Mhm.
you don't keep in touch
Okay.
with lots.
And he's also talking
Okay,
about
family.
Ted.
Oh, yeah.
So you'd understand
Yeah,
Ted.
yeah.
Okay. And don't know if these belong to Dad and Granddad, but there's a menagerie of animals that suddenly are around them, little dogs. So there's someone in the family that had more than one little dog.
Yeah, yeah, not them,
No,
but they
but
were in the
they've
family, all had
yeah,
dogs.
and they've got all of them because they're going for a walk.
yeah.
And it's a beautiful country walk with all the trees, and
Yeah.
there's about 4 of them, you know, these little dogs. None of them are huge dogs, but they're all walking there, and one of them is a lovely browny red. So that'd be one to think of.
Yeah, his name was Ricky.
Oh, okay, then you know him, because
Yeah.
they're saying we've got all of the
Yeah.
animals, and we just want to say to you about you enjoying a walk in the park as well. That's important, to be back with nature. Okay.
Yeah.
And I say God bless you.
Yeah, thank you very
Okay.
much. Thank you.
Jane, right, so I come to Rosemary. Okay, we can just pass them on then. Okay. Rosemary, I feel as though a great weight has been taken off your shoulders this last couple of months. Would you understand that there was a great heaviness
Yes.
and that is beginning to lighten? It's not completely gone, but that there this lightness.
Yes.
And it's also important for you to have spiritual healing when you can, because it's good for mind, body, and spirit. And you need a little bit of a tonic,
Okay.
you know, with the healing, because it's as though you felt a bit depleted with
Yes.
your energies. So we need to build that. We need that vitamin C. We need that sunlight. And it's important for you as well. You are a busy person, because I'm seeing that you're here, there, and everywhere. But it's the fact is, have some time for you about doing what you want to pursue as well. And there's an
Yes.
interest. I'm seeing books around you. So would you understand that you like to learn things from books, that you have an interest in reading?
Yes.
Because I don't think we've ever had that conversation. So therefore, it's something I don't know about you. But there are some books. There's quite a range of books. It's just not one type of book that you read, but some of your books are quite deep and
Okay.
on philosophy as well. So you'd understand reading about spiritual philosophy.
I have been told something about philosophy and somebody
Yeah.
in spirit.
You'll be drawn to a certain book.
Yeah.
And I want to give you March as an anniversary month as well. Do you understand either a passing or a birthday, someone's anniversary? If you can't worry, then I want to go into April as well and say there's also an anniversary in April. And I want to
Well,
mid-April.
April is kind of the baptism of my son Daniel. That was his baptism on the 3rd of April.
Right, okay. Then you've thought of him, or you're thinking of him for that 3rd of April. Don't know if you mark his this date with buying flowers or putting a flower next to a picture.
I'm doing a lot of gardening and putting flowers in the garden at the moment.
Okay. because I just want you to have flowers and thoughts about Son, okay?
Yes.
With that, okay. And I want to put music around you as well, that you love music.
I do.
Okay, and that's
Yeah.
important because music can take you into a meditation. You can actually drift yourself off into a nice, deeper state of consciousness when you're listening to your music.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And I'll
Thank
say,
you.
God bless you.
Thank you
Okay?
very much.
Then Mumtaz, I'll come to you. Now I'm getting a really tiny little bouquet and a tide of violets. You'd understand that. They're very small, tiny little purpley flower. And these have been hand tied in a purple piece of ribbon from Mum.
Thank you.
Okay, and it's almost as though it's a striking perfume that's with this, and it's not big, and Mum wasn't outlandish and huge, but she gives you this, you know, and they're very sweet. And I don't know if this is a condition Mum had or you have had, but when it is a past condition, I'm feeling quite dizzy or, you know, head's a bit muzzy.
Yeah, she used to.
Yeah,
that,
okay, because
yeah.
it's just something I wanted her to give me that I'd not had from her before, and I just have this muzzy head, but it's past condition, and you know, her head is as clear as anything now,
Good.
and it's almost as though she's waiting for you. I don't know if you're finding yourself being inspired for writing things,
Yes.
because there's going to be more of that. Make sure you've got plenty of note paper
Okay.
and pen, because she wants to inspire you. It's as though you're the empty vessel and Mum wants to fill you up with this wonderful philosophy. So
Right.
don't be surprised if you suddenly find that what you're beginning to see in front of you is deeper,
Okay.
and sort of, it's not necessarily rhyming poetry, it's deep thoughts. Okay, but she is doing that. She wants to give you the month of April,
Okay.
so you would understand something coming up in April. She wants you to keep warm because you've been feeling the cold recently.
Yes.
And she just says you've got to keep your place you're living warmer.
Right.
So I don't know if you're feeling cold spots in places,
Sometimes.
but it's
yeah.
almost what she wants to also say. Sometimes you go in a room and you think, oh, it's cold over here.
Yes.
It's not that it is cold, but it's the presence of spirit
Oh,
making their self known to you.
right.
So when it is, and you think, oh no, it's cold in here, just say, well, thank you for being here,
Okay.
and then it'll get warmer.
Oh, all right.
Okay,
yeah,
so it's
yeah,
there for you as a physical sign,
Yeah.
rather than something wrong with your central heating.
Because I felt it yesterday on my back, and
Uh-huh.
it just felt unusual because my body was warm.
Yeah,
And it was on my, and I thought I was well,
yes,
you know, I couldn't
well covered
understand
that, and
it.
now you do. So that's just a
Yes.
confirmation then
Right.
that Mum being close to you.
Yes.
And, you know, sorry, it's a shame they didn't come with warmth, but sometimes spirit just manifests, and it's a
Yes.
cold energy.
Right.
Okay, but just know it's just for you to notice. And the
Right.
moment you notice, the coldness goes away.
See.
Okay,
Yes.
so I say God bless you. And if you can pass to Daphne.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Daphne, I've got a Frank and a Fred that come together. So would you understand those two names as either friends or family?
Francis features.
No.
Francis, but
Well, yes, the Frank would be, yes.
yeah.
But you don't understand the Frederick.
Not
No,
close
it's
to
okay.
me, no.
No, it doesn't have to be
Okay.
close. Sometimes
No.
they bring someone in. If
Okay.
you understand the Frank is more close, then he's just
Yeah.
happens to have brought
I
Fred.
know a Fred, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And they're saying they were with everyone with a family gathering recently at the wedding. So they were, you know, around, and it was good to see everyone laughing and happy and joy. And it was good to see you happy
I was.
and enjoy it, and that was good, and
Yes.
that you look good as well. I don't know if I've seen a picture yet where you're fascinated, but they're just saying that that was a good occasion, and it was lovely to see, and that they're around you. Okay. And they're saying you are a worrier though, and you do worry about your health sometimes, but really you should just, they're saying, just go for it. So whatever it is you're suddenly thinking, no, I'm just not up to it. They're saying, just go for it. You know, just rest and don't over overuse your energy, but save your energy to do the things that are important to you and enjoy life. You know, it's important to enjoy life.
Of course.
So there's been a discussion about going away, and you're thinking, I'm just not thinking that I'm going to be
No.
up to it. But they're saying, just go for it. Oh, and I've got the name of Jeannie. Would you understand a Jean?
Only here.
Right, so you know someone on the earth that's called Jean.
Yes.
Well, then send some thoughts for her, for, you know, just giving her a little bit of a boost, healing wise.
Thank
Okay?
you. Sorry.
Because sometimes we need that. Sometimes spirit use us to be able to get closer to the
Right.
earth.
Thank you.
Okay. But we also have, or we won't disturb Ivor, but you can say to him, I'm aware of Ivor's dad. But I'm also aware that Ivor has brought your son that returned to spirit too soon,
Yes.
that that your son was at the wedding also,
Oh, I'm so
From spirit.
pleased. Yes.
you know, and there must have been a point at the wedding reception where you felt suddenly cold, because I've got that goosebumps feeling or cobwebby feeling. Would you understand at some point? Because it was as though your son was trying to put his hand on your shoulder for you both to know that he was there.
Oh, lovely.
Okay, so just
Yeah.
know, and it may be that you'll think back and thought, yeah, I felt a bit cold there, and I got Ivor to get me my coat or my jacket or something. But know that it was your son from
Oh, it'd be
spirit.
lovely if he was.
Yes,
Yes.
he was.
Yes, I must believe
Yeah,
it.
yes, because you just said, why wouldn't I be?
Yeah.
Yeah, why would I stay away?
My 3 sons.
Exactly. He said, I
Yeah.
wouldn't miss my son's wedding, my
Yeah.
brother's wedding.
His twin brother too.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So he
Yeah.
was there. So
Oh,
know that.
wonderful.
And he's got quite a sense of humour. Because he's saying I was the best dressed, because he could choose what he wanted in an instant, and you know,
Yeah.
make himself whatever figure he wanted in that suit. So
Yeah.
he looked the best, he's saying.
Oh, I should be very proud.
But I don't know if your son that got married has got a cheeky sense of humour as well, because
Indeed. Yeah.
it's as though he's being cheeky with that. He's saying, you know, that some of the babies have seen me around in the family, but he said that, you know, I'm always at family events. Okay.
Oh,
And always
lovely.
with the two of you, because he comes behind and he puts his arms onto each of you. Okay, so he's right there in the middle, but on the row behind. Okay.
It's lovely to know that. Thank
Okay.
you.
And with that, I say God bless you.
Thank you.
Okay. So if you can pass back to June, she's just June, I know I gave a Fred to Daphne, but do you understand a Fred?
Yes.
Because I'm beginning to wonder if Frank brought your Fred in, so you'll understand Fred
I
in
know
your
a Frank
family.
and a Fred.
Right, okay, but they came together. Sometimes Ashley calls it like a big waiting room, and people start chatting and making friends in this waiting room,
Yes.
and they're waiting to communicate with us in the same way we communicate with them.
Yes.
Okay. But they are also giving you a great boost of yellow. They're surrounding you in yellow flowers,
Oh, lovely.
in daffodils and lilies and the sunflowers, and saying you need a boost of energy.
That's
You're
true.
feeling
Yeah.
depleted, and you really do need a boost of energy,
That's true.
because you're thinking, is this me now? Am I not going to feel stronger than this? You are
Yes.
going to feel stronger than this,
Good.
you know, and Fred is saying this, you are. Don't talk yourself down, and don't say, no, I can't do that, because there's a lot of life left in you, June. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
And you need that positivity, and you need
Yes.
that, you know, to go on, and you need to be out near the colours and near the yellow.
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
Can I give you August as an anniversary?
Probably, I know
Yeah,
there's something
don't
in every.
worry about
really.
it, but that's what they're just
Oh,
bringing
yes, I've
through.
just remembered our birthdays and.
Right,
things.
okay. And with the daffodils that I have around you, massive King Alfred ones, but they are so big. But I want to say they're like the spirit trumpet, and that trumpet is giving you that you are hearing spirit around, and then just putting it off to no, I didn't hear it. But know that spirit are around you,
Oh, I do
talking
know
with
it.
you,
I do know that.
and
yeah.
being there, because
Yeah.
they're showing it as the trumpet from the daffodil.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you.
Okay, and I say God bless you, because I'm coming over to Phil,
Thank
and I
you.
will get round to everyone.
Thank you, Jackie.
Okay. Okay, so link with you, Phil. I'm picking up Mum. I'm seeing Mum. I did
Right,
meet her a couple of
thank you.
times. And she's taking me in the garden and she's saying it was one of her favourite places. And I know I've said to you before that she likes being in the garden when you're in the garden,
Yes,
but she is giving you some tulips.
lovely.
Okay, so and they're really beautiful tulips. But she's given me a lovely deep purpley tulip as well. And I think purple was one of her favourite colours.
Yes, it was.
So that's why she's decided to give you these purple tulips. Okay. But she wants to put music around you, and I know that you like music around, but it's almost as though there's certain music, if you listen to it, puts you closer to spirit and
Oh,
more into a meditative.
totally.
And it's not every bit of music does
No.
that you play, but there's certain ones that bring you close. And in that closeness is when she comes the closest with you.
Thank you.
Because there is still a great deal of work for you to do.
Yes.
But she just wants to surround you in these beautiful colours of these flowers. Now she's given me August, but then because I know you, I know your birthday is August. But there is another anniversary in August as well. They've been connected that I wouldn't have known about. So she's just saying, give those ones. Okay. And she's seeing you having ideas and she's fully behind you with all these ideas. Okay.
Right, thank you.
And so she gives her love and she said, Dad does, but Dad's out. He's out in the garden. So he liked to garden.
He did.
I didn't know that about him. He just liked to have the green around him and his hands in the soil and that feeling communion with spirit. Okay, and I'll say God bless you. So if you can pass to Sandra. Sharon. Then I know then. I know, that's what I'm going to say. Do you know a Sharon?
Sandra.
Sandra.
Been an episode.
I know, I'm having an episode. I'm getting too hungry. Yes. Do you know a Sandra? Sharon.
Give up.
Give up. I'm going to give up. Yeah.
Well, there is I do know someone who is up in, up near in Sutton. I do know someone called Sandra.
Oh, so they're on the earth.
Yes,
Right,
absolutely.
okay.
Yeah.
No, the lady I'm getting had some problems with confusion herself. And this lady is in the spirit world.
Oh.
And that's why I was getting the two names and why I couldn't manage to get out of that, because sometimes it's like a cycle and you can't break it.
Yeah.
But she's come particularly to be very supportive to you about you continuing to break free in a way, just keeping yourself fluid, keeping yourself active. And she's saying, if you don't succeed first time, try and try again.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's very much her message.
Right.
But if you can't understand the name, then understand this lady that had her own problems with clarity.
Yeah.
I know that she is with you, and there will be some more work for you to do, that you are important. So know that, value yourself is important, and she's there as your backup. She's your wingman. Okay.
Okay.
So have that confidence to go forward. Okay.
Okay.
And look forward. She said, look forward to July. So I don't know if July is a birthday or something else.
It's mine.
It's your birthday,
In
right?
July.
Okay, because she's saying look forward to July. Okay. And she's giving some lovely memories of the seaside and you liking to be near water. So you'd understand that. Some of us like water, some of us like water, and you get energy restored by water.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's saying that. But I'll say God bless you.
Thank you.
And then I'd like to come to the two of you. You're all together, aren't you? Start of the spring holidays, the Easter holidays. Trying to find activities. I've got 4 grandchildren I'm going to be working with, trying to occupy. And in fact, if you need an activity, not this coming Wednesday, but the Wednesday after, we're going to do some creative work on the Wednesday lunchtime, and we're going to make some Easter crowns or bonnets, crowns and Easter eggs and stuff. So we've got a lovely lady, and she's bringing her granddaughter, and I'm bringing my grandsons, and we're just going to do some creative Easter things. So that's on the Wednesday, but not this first Wednesday, the 1st, but there's a Wednesday the Because it's lovely for children to be able to be part of something and see other spiritually minded families and work with colours. But I want to say to you in particular that your boys are very creative. You like colouring and paints. You like messy things, I'm being told, that you really like, the messier the better. All right, because there's a lovely lady, you have guardian angels that look after you from afar, and there's a lovely lady that was part of your family that's a guardian angel, okay? And this lady is a very motherly lady, and that she comes, and she may well have been, you know, mum or grandmother, but she could be a nan to everybody. She had that wonderful warmth about her. Everyone was made welcome, and she loved to be around children. Okay, and it's about memories, building memories, is what she's saying. Okay, but this lady just comes very briefly, just to say that she's always around, looking after everyone as a guardian angel on your shoulder. Somebody looking out for you back, so somebody protecting and somebody looking after. And I'm hearing the name of Flo. So there's a Florence. Would you understand a Florence? A Flo that's there in the family. And it may be that it's a generation that you don't remember, but I'm hearing Flo. And even that what it's saying about the flow, there's some things that need to be fluid. But I feel that that's the name of Flo. But keeping things fluid, keeping things open. There's some decisions around the two of you anyway. But it's almost as though you haven't got the right knowledge acquired yet to make the decision without asking the experts, the people that know. So do you understand that? About decision, because it's saying seek advice in a nice positive way, ask people that know. But sometimes we can't make a formidable decision unless we actually, you know, have everything. Because would you understand that you're weighing pros and cons of something at the moment? Because I'm feeling as like it's a scale, and I'm thinking, is that balanced? Is that balanced? And that's what this lady is saying. It's about the flow, the ebb and flow, and about getting that right balance as well. So it's opportunity, positive energy all around us, but there's opportunity. And you're just not quite sure. The road isn't quite clear enough for you to know the pathway that's just ahead. And we don't fortune tell, but our family know, and they're there behind us. And there's no wrong decision, is what they're saying. In life, there's never a wrong decision. It's just a different one or a different pathway that gets us there. So that's the important thing. So you'd understand that?
Yes.
Okay. And there's also a gentleman that comes, I feel, that is connected with the gentleman. And he is tall and he is slim. So this man never put weight on. Do you understand? A gentleman that's in heaven that was a tall, slim man.
Possibly, yeah.
And he would have worked physically with his hands.
Yeah.
So he had skill with his hands. Okay, he could have turned himself to anything, really. It's a sort of man that had a great deal of determination. And even if he didn't know something, he suddenly shown me, he'd buy a book, because he said in the days when I was on Earth, you didn't have the internet in the same way. You couldn't Google it and find out. He'd get himself a book and find out. It's almost as though if he wanted to change, you know, a socket in the wall, the fact that he was an electrician wouldn't have put him off. He'd have got a book and looked at the diagram, and then he'd have done it, because he's saying you couldn't put him down. Couldn't, he would find ways around things. And he said, you need to find ways around things.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Okay, but he's doing that to give you encouragement and to say that he is around and he is your wingman and he's looking after you and trying to balance things around your life for you. But he is saying not to be put off. And for him, he's really sort of pushing you to succeed and pushing you to do certain things that are happening around in your life at the moment. And for you to see the clearer picture, because he's there and he's strong. And as I say, you couldn't knock him down. If you knocked him down, he'd get back up again. And he'd get back up again and again, and he would talk to you in that way as well. And so he's talking to you from the spirit world rather than being here. And I want to give you the month of May. So somewhere there's an anniversary, something nice and positive in May. It's someone's birthday.
There's a birth.
Ah, right, okay, because that's the nearest event that he's saying that's positive. Which I've never met you before. I don't think I've met you before. So he's just saying that, but he comes with a great deal of love and saying he's balancing life out. Don't leave above, no, and they are there and they are looking after you. And I say God bless you with that because I'm going to come to Julian. Okay, Julian? I've got 7 minutes left. That's
Thank you.
Now, I know that you've been doing lots of studying, and I know you're studying in the material world, so material subjects, you know.
Yes.
But there's also study that you want to do spiritually. And it's almost as though that's been on the back burner while you're doing the material study.
Yes.
And then once that, one is going to move into the other, and you'll be using what you've learned for the material world into the spiritual.
Yeah, it would be nice to combine them,
Yeah.
to
So
merge them.
it's right, there will be a link. What you're learning now will play a part with your spiritual development.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm almost, because I know it's like connected, isn't it, with engineering and sort of electrics and things. But I'm suddenly being shown, somebody did create once a sort of electronic talking board, you know, or that lit up or something. So I don't know if you've thought about gadgets, because there's somebody in the spirit world that was into gadgets, and you're sort of saying, well, with a bit of inspiration, you
Yeah,
could-
actually, I was thinking about something like that.
Yeah,
To
and it's-
create some device or something.
yes, because this individual is inspiring you, and he would have been very good with gadgets. So, and he's saying all the things you're learning materially will have an impact on the spiritual. Okay,
Right. Yeah.
and that's important. And they're just giving you a great deal of love. They're giving you a great deal of yellow around you. And yellow is also the colour of enlightenment, which is the colour of learning. So they're giving it to me as yellow and orange to give you the energy to keep going, because it will be worthwhile. Okay?
All
It
right.
will all be worthwhile, and you won't have to work so long continually. You know, it will all have a result where you can then have some time for you. Okay?
Okay.
So it's saying, you know, it's important to rest and play as well as learn. So
Yeah,
balance
that's
that
true.
out as well, because sometimes you're too late in the night studying.
Or waking.
Okay, which I don't know about you because we don't have that conversation, but that's this inspiring man is going to be there, you know, helping you with.
Oh, so there is a man who.
Yes, this man, he was with gadgets on his life.
Oh,
And I do believe he's like one of your helpers, one of your inspirers. Okay,
okay.
he's
Yes.
working, he's been almost assigned to you to help you with these projects. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
and I
I
would
understand.
say God bless you. And then Joanne, last
Thank you.
but not least, okay. And I know that you do the wonderful sound healing and the bowls, and we will have a session here one time, because I think it would be wonderful to experience. But you get a lot out of that yourself, and the energy comes back to you.
Yes, I do.
And you're on such a high when you finish it. It takes you hours to come down from the energy.
Makes me knackered actually sometimes, but
But
it
it's-
is
sometimes
great
it's
energy.
so
Yeah,
important,
it's really nice.
Because it's
yeah.
the balancing, it sort of live wires your brain.
Yes.
Even if you think, I really need sleep, 'cause it's been a long day. That's what they're sort of saying with your
Yes.
inspirers, because, you know, people are finding a difference
Yes, they are.
in the experience and balancing. And I've been hearing, I've only read an article recently about grounding and
Yeah.
people having grounding sheets.
Yes, I've got one of those as well.
Right, so it's almost as though there's a little bit more work for you in this direction.
Yes, I'm
Wow.
getting a special bowl for that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd understand where they're going.
Yeah.
So they're obviously around you and talking with you for me to be influenced, one, to read it, and then two, to be passing it on, about ions and energy and balancing and the healing being really important, you know.
Yes.
And there being so much work for you for the future.
Thank you.
Okay, but I want to give you something as well in a positive way. I'm being given pink carnations for you.
Okay, thank you.
And they're beautiful aroma and beautiful bouquet surrounding you. Hundreds of pink carnations.
Thank you so much.
And, you know, just to, it's the colour of emotion in pink, but it's colour of balance as well in emotion. But you understand, because you understand about colour. Okay, but that's something that's going to develop as well for knowing people with colours. But it's about energy and vibration and sound and colour combined. And I know in the spirit world, the spirit hospitals that are there in heaven all work with colour and light vibrations and sounds. So we know it, we just don't understand it as much on the earth. Okay. And with that, I say God bless you, so that I don't think I missed anyone, and we did it right to time. Okay, so thank you all for being here, and so many of you in the end. So thank you. Right, okay. Yeah, we do the notice. And Mum and Dad are around anyway. I could just feel you, Mum and Dad are here. They would be here. You know, they popped in. They had to go to Oscar's party first. They said they didn't stay too long there. Okay, all right.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Ray. And here are the forthcoming events. Our guest medium for the Easter Sunday service on Sunday, April the 5th at 11 a.m. is Stephen Mager from Chichester. Please note that Wimbledon Spiritualist Church services for each week can now be viewed on our link, which is viewable on the Facebook page for YouTube. The Healing Clinic for members of the community and animals is every Tuesday from 7 until 8:15 p.m. and Thursday from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. You will be greeted by our healer practitioners in a safe, friendly and welcoming atmosphere, and donations apply. Crystal Healing with Rachel Davis is available at Wimbledon and Hackbridge Spiritualist Churches, and please phone Rachel's number, which is listed on our Facebook page and Wimbledon website, to book an appointment. New events for spring 2026 include our Friendship Club, which is held every Wednesday from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. at Wimbledon. Jackie Robinson will be hosting on April the 1st, when our guest medium will be Laura Wood, who will be demonstrating her mediumship between 1 and 2 p.m. The admission is £5, which includes refreshments. You are welcome to arrive for Friendship Club at 11 a.m, have a lunch break at 12:30, and then we start the demonstration of mediumship at 1 p.m. Development circles. Dawn Collinson's Open Circle runs every second and fourth Thursday of every month, and her next circle is on April the 9th. If you are interested in joining, please contact Dawn on her email address, which is dawncollinson80 at gmail.com. That's dawncollinson80 at gmail.com. Open Platform, led by myself, Phil Shaw, now has a new time slot, and the next Open Platform will be held on Saturday, April the 25th from 2 until 3:45, and will then run bi-monthly in June, August, October and December. Some dates may be subject to change, but where possible, Open Platform will be held on the second Saturday of alternate months, with the exception of April the 25th and August the 22nd. Please check pre-event postings, and any inquiries relating to Open Platform can be referred to myself, Phil Shaw, on my Facebook page or on email philesoteric@gmail.com. Finally, a demonstration of mediumship. Tonight here at Wimbledon, we have a special demonstration of mediumship and healing with Ashley Robinson and Ian Mason. Join us for an extraordinary evening with Ashley and our guest Ian Mason, blending spirit communication, healing energy, and genuine human connection in ways you may never have previously experienced. See full promo description of this event on our Wimbledon Facebook pages or website. The event is still pre-bookable. If you hurry this afternoon and get onto Eventbrite, you can get a £6.50 ticket, but if not, £10 tickets are available on the door this evening before our 7 o'clock start. Advance booking is available at the reduced price for Wimbledon Sunday demonstrations. Tickets can always be purchased via Eventbrite or pay by bank transfer, PayPal or cash at Wimbledon. Tickets are also available on the evening of each demonstration at £10. Please keep up to date with activities and special events, courses, workshops and demonstrations and information can be currently viewed on our website, Facebook and Instagram pages, where you will always find links to pre-event booking facilities. The April diary of events will be available on our website and Facebook pages next week. Thank you.
Jackie and I met about 48 years ago. And I said to her on one occasion, I can't see you on a Tuesday. I'm busy. What are you doing? I said, I'm just busy. And a day or so later, she asked me, what are you doing on a Tuesday? Is there another girl? Is there somebody else? I said, no. I said, well, I don't know how to breach this conversation. I said, well, I'm a spiritualist and I go spiritual healing with a healer friend of ours. And I go and visit my nans and give them healing. And Jack said, oh, I'd like to come to church with you. It's like similar to the one down at Stockwell. So I said, that's the one. And Jackie walked into this church and I was very anxious how she would receive spiritualism, but she was, for want of a word, converted that day and has been a spiritualist ever since. And I'm so proud of her when I see her work, and it's such an honour to be up here with her. And she hasn't paid me to say this. But all jokes aside, I'm so proud of her. Well done, Jack. Really proud. Thank you. Yeah. I've got another one here if you don't mind. I can read it better. Okay, so Jackie's going to leave and get the hot cross buns.
Jackie?
Thank you.
Guess what? Purple tulips.
See them?
Thank you very much.
I must have been influencing you when you got them then. Thank you very much. Thank you. They're beautiful.
Well done, babes. Well done. We now come to the end of our service. Tea and refreshments are outside. And I'll leave you with these short few words. Like seekers of truth, the sunflowers follow the light, reminding us to turn towards hope, joy and clarity. Resolution and strength, standing tall through the wind and weather, they teach us the quiet power of endurance. Faith and devotion, their unwavering gaze mirrors spiritual commitment, a symbol of continuity of our sacred journey upon this earth. So as we go forth from this church, may the light and the power of the Spirit energize us, continue to bless us. So as we meet people upon the highways and byways of life, we share the truths of survival, of healing by the power of the Spirit, and the manifestation of spiritualism within our lives, so we may help bring peace to this torn world of ours. So mote it be. Amen. Friends, good morning. God bless until we meet again. Bye-bye. Thank you.